Hi, I'm Riley Joe, and I read 14 books in April. Now, you may or may not be thinking, isn't that one book every two-ish days? Yes. Yes, it is. I'm going to take you through every book I read in April, what I rated them, and my thoughts on them. But first, I have ordered a new reading chair because I had a mushroom chair in front of my bookshelf, and that was not going to do. So, first, let's get it set up. Before we get into what books I read, I thought I'd take you through a little bit of the stats for this month. So I read 14 books, 5,743 pages. I average 191 pages per day. A little excessive, but also keep in mind that I work in a school and I had spring break for the first week of April, so that also kind of beefed up my stats. And I also listen to a lot of audiobooks. I run and listen to audiobooks, so it's not all reading with my eyes all the time. That'd be a little crazy. The first book I read was Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This one is like a historical fiction-ish about some astronauts who work at NASA, and it's about kind of the women there. They're like the first ones to kind of be let in to be able to work at NASA at that level, and they're trying to get into space and be some of the first women to do it. And then along the way there's a little bit of a love story. So I rated that one 5 stars. It was really good, and I've only read The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo and Atmosphere by her, and I think I've rated both 5 stars. So I really need to look into more what books she has and read more. The second book I read was A Love Letter to Whiskey by Candy Steiner. This one blew up a while ago. I think it was 2016. And I had heard about it. I got back into reading 2023, I want to say. So I was like, let me see what the hype is about. I honestly didn't love it. So there's a love letter to whiskey, and then there's love whiskey, which is so the love letter to whiskey is this girl writes this book about this guy that she nicknamed Whiskey, whatever, whatever. They're kind of toxic, but whatever. And I don't really love the toxicity because it just kind of bothers me. Um, but then Love Whiskey was the second book in it, one book, one and a half kind of, and it was the guy's perspective on everything. And so I just stopped after A Love Letter Whiskey because I started Love Whiskey, and I was like, why would I want to go through the same timeline just in a different perspective? If it's both at the same time and we were going back and forth, that would have been fine. But then going back, I just felt like they were toxic. I didn't really need to know how much more toxic they were. I was done with it. So I rated that one 3 stars based on the first book. If I would have continued, I probably would have rated it less because I would have gotten annoyed, but I stopped before. The third book I read was Don't Call It a Comeback by Kira D'Amato, which is a running-ish book. Kira D'Amato is a marathoner, a professional marathoner, and she's kind of just talking about her story. She put down running for a little bit while she had her kids, 8 years, and she came back. The book is called Don't Call It a Comeback, but she came back and was able to really compete at a high level. So it was just kind of cool, hearing her story and what that was like coming back. So I rated that one 4 star. It was solid. memoirs are kind of tricky to rate because it's like it's that person's story, and like they're not a traditional author where that's like what they do, you know? So I don't like to be like critical of those, but I thought it was really solid and I really enjoyed it. So I think 4 is just like I really enjoyed it. The next book I read after that was Kin by Tayari Jones. Sorry if I'm saying that wrong. This one I really enjoyed. It's like a historical fiction about two African American girls in the South who are friends, and that they kind of like diverge and go on different paths, but it's kind of like their journeys and kind of like about that chosen family that you have, and those people you stay in touch with and that you really love, even though you're not family, and even though you don't see each other all the time. So there's like a lot of letters that they write each other. This one I rated 4 stars. I honestly had a little bit higher expectations for it. Like I thought it would be a 5 star, but it just didn't give those 5 star feelings for me. I still really enjoyed it, but it just wasn't like, I don't know. I didn't really connect with the characters, and I feel like the ending like should have had more of an effect on me, and it really didn't for like a 5 star book. But like 4 stars is really solid, and I really enjoyed it. So it was good. I would definitely recommend reading it. The next book I read was Beautiful Ugly by Alice Feeney. I listened to the audiobook, which was like really interesting. There were a lot of sound effects and things, so like I'd be listening on my run and there'd be some scary sound effects, and I'd almost crap myself because I was so scared and I was running in the woods. But I think that made it a good audiobook. I rated it 3.5 just because like it wasn't an amazing like mystery thriller for me. Like it was good, but it wasn't amazing. It was interesting, and I was definitely invested in the story and wanted to know what happened. So I definitely like wanted to keep listening and wanted to keep seeing what would happen. So it was solid. Sixth book I read was Hello Beautiful by Anne Palatino. This book follows. It has 3 point of views, but there's like 4 sisters in the book, and then like a brother or a husband slash brother-in-law person. And it follows 2 sisters' point of views and the husband slash brother-in-law point of view, but the other sisters are still heavily involved in it. And in this book, William, the husband slash brother-in-law, kind of goes through something really hard, and it just kind of puts a rift in his relationship with Julia, one of the sisters, the sister that he married, and just kind of the rest of the family. So it goes through that journey of kind of the family diverging their paths a little bit, and kind of what that looked like, and how William and Julia and Sylvie and the other sisters navigated that. This one was really good. I gave it a 5 star. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really great writing. And I really connected with the characters, and at the end I was definitely very is very heartfelt at the end. I don't want to spoil it or anything, but this one I would definitely recommend. I really enjoyed it, and I'm glad I have the physical copy. Then I read Allegedly by Tiffany G. Jackson. This was a mystery thriller, and it's following this girl named Mary who was allegedly accused of killing a baby when she was 9, and it's kind of about her journey. It picks up after the fact and after she had been in the system for some years, and kind of her journey of like being a child through the system and what that looked like, and her trying to get her case overturned because she says she didn't do it. So it's just kind of following that. This was actually my book club book for this one, so it wasn't something I would normally have picked, and it wasn't something I heard of, but I really liked it. I rated it a 4 because I was definitely really invested, and I listened to the audiobook, which I would recommend for this one just because like I feel like it really brought this character to life, and I really enjoyed the audiobook. So I rated it a 4. I definitely wanted to know what happened. Did she do it? Did she not do it? Is she like crazy putting up a front? So it was definitely like interesting to kind of follow her along and see what happened. The next book I read was Molka. This was a book of the month pick. That this one sold out, I think, on book of the month, so it was super popular. It was by Monica Kim. This one is about, so Molka means, it's a Korean term for hidden or miniature spy cameras secretly and illegally installed, often to capture voyeuristic images and videos. Molka is an abbreviation of the word mole camera, which means sneaky camera. It's about people who put up secret cameras in like bathrooms or private spaces to get footage that they may sell off or may have for themselves, like really bad people. This one mostly follows Daye and sorry if I'm mispronouncing them, and Jun Young. who is a guy, and then Danye is the girl. She gets caught up in a Mocha scandal because some footage of her was released. So she's navigating that and she's taking her own revenge. And I love the female rage in this. It was definitely it was entertaining for sure. And it was interesting to learn a little bit more of the cameras and kind of like laws in Korea and how those things are prosecuted and stuff too. This one was definitely like really eye opening. Like this is actually happening there, but this was just kind of a fictitious story and like dramatized, but like the women often end up getting in trouble for what they do after these things happen to them and not the people who are doing these things. So I really enjoyed this and I would recommend this. I think it's sold out in Book of the Month, but I think it's out now and you can get it at the bookstore. The next one I read was The Wedding People by Alison Espa. This one I rated 4 star, following Phoebe, who went to this hotel to herself. And then she gets there and there's a bunch of wedding people there because there's a big event and she's not supposed to be there. It's only supposed to be like they booked out the hotel and it was just supposed to be the people for the wedding. So somehow she's in there. She sparks an unlikely relationship with the bride in the wedding, and the bride's pretty high maintenance, and it's kind of their journey and sharing that why she came there and the bride's reactions and just all those wedding people kind of inviting her in. It's a really great story. I would definitely recommend it. It didn't give me 5 star feelings, which I'm a little bummed about because I had higher expectations, but it was really good. And it's a very I just like stories about that, like people going through real things and then like other people just kind of rallying around them, and they were just strangers. They weren't people she knew. The next one was River Sing Me Home by Eleanor Shearer. This one is about a mom in Barbados in slavery that she found out at the beginning she's free, but they still have to do an apprenticeship for 6 years before they're actually free. So they're really not free, but the king declared them free. And she ends up escaping, going on a journey to find all of her kids who were ripped away from her. It's just kind of about that journey. That one I rated 3.5. I didn't really connect with it and wasn't as interested as I thought I would be. I really had high hopes for this one because I really enjoy learning kind of like historically, like about people who were historically oppressed, enslaved, and those things, and like the real things they went through. And this one just didn't really. It was more about the journey of like finding her kids, which obviously that's a huge part of it. Her kids getting taken away from her, but like I don't know. I didn't feel like learned as much about like what was really happening in that time period and what it was really like, and I didn't really connect with it as much as I thought I would. So this one was a 3.5 for me. So it was like fine, but it wasn't like amazing. The next book I read was Before I Let Go by Kennedy Ryan, which is the first book in the Skyland series. I really enjoyed this one. I have not been picking up romance. I have not been enjoying romance at all. But this one I really enjoyed. It kind of gave me a little bit more literary fiction, which is what I've been enjoying because it's about Jasmine and Josiah, who are this couple who have kids, went through a couple things really traumatic kind of back to back, and they ended up divorcing. But they still really love each other and stuff. It just wasn't working out because she was internalizing, she was very depressed, she was like going through a lot of things on meds, going to therapy. Josiah was just working. They had a restaurant. He was just working, working, working. So they just kind of were dealing with it on different paths. And so they ended up divorcing. It's kind of about them like coming together. They kind of share an intimate moment and then they're like, what do we do from here? So it's about that journey. I really, 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 really enjoyed this. I enjoyed the rawness and the realness of it, of people going through hard things and how they deal with those hard things and learning to overcome them. So I really, really enjoyed this one and I plan on continuing the series. It was a 5 star for me. A romance getting a 5 star from me these days is rare. So good job, Kennedy Ryan, and I will be continuing the series. The next one I read was Dandelion is Dead by Rosie Story. This is a newer release. It's following Poppy, who her sister Dandelion had just died. Dandelion is dead, and she goes on Dandelion's phone and messaged a guy on her sister's dating app that had messaged her sister, but like had never messaged her back. So she's messaging this guy as Dandelion, but she's Poppy. So it's kind of about that and like that lie for a while and kind of navigating that afterwards. And so that was a very interesting premise, and just kind of like the weird things you do in grief sometimes that don't really make sense, and just then eventually when the truth is found out, like kind of navigating that. This one I didn't love as much as I was hoping to. It was a 3.5 star for me, so it wasn't amazing, wasn't terrible, it wasn't bad, like it was just fine. Like it was an interesting premise and I'm glad I read it, but it wasn't like anything I would like rave about and be like, you need to read this book. So it was just like fine for me. It just kind of it fell flat a little bit. And then the next book I read was Dear Edward. I mostly listened to the audiobook. So Edward is a teenager. He was in a plane crash with his family. So his brother, his mom, and his dad passed away in the plane crash along with every other passenger and pilot in that plane. So it's kind of going through his journey of like healing and like, kind of figuring out what happened while also going back to like some of the people on the plane and their story. This one I didn't really connect with it as much as I would have liked because it's like an emotional story and it's sad, but it didn't really do it for me. I gave it 3.5 star. It was like fine. I don't know. Maybe I was just in a slump for a week where I give everything 3.5 star. I'm not. Maybe I would reread it and I'd like it. But this one was like pretty good. But not amazing for me. And then the last book I read for April was The Last Letter by Rebecca Yarros. Y'all, this book. This one is following Ella, who is a single mom of two twins. Her husband had like left her after she found out she was pregnant, and like they were married, so like kind of crazy stuff. And also following Beckett, and they're writing letters to each other. Because Beckett is in the military with Ella's brother Ryan. He's just like classic military man, tough guy, doesn't have a lot of family. Um, but they end up like really loving each other, and then Ryan ends up passing away, and kind of his last wish is for Becca to go take care of Ella because Ella's really strong and she's going through a lot. Her daughter has cancer and she's navigating that, doesn't have a lot of chances to live, so Beckett comes over to help Ella, but they don't really get off on the right foot. So it's kind of going through that journey. This book, so sad. I almost cried. I finished it in the morning before work, which was just a poor choice. Not something that you should do if you read this book. Almost started crying, but I had to go to work and work with children after the ending of this book. And if you've read this book, you understand. Um, it was good. It was 5 star. Like nothing. Just if I just can't stop thinking about something and I almost start crying because it kind of takes a lot to make me cry, then it just has to get 5 stars. It just has to. So, Rebecca, good job, but I hate you for this book. If you're still here, thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.